Choosing climate change over Afghan chaos as Kabul crumbled during the 2021 U.S. military withdrawal. Emails obtained by the Daily Wire show that top Pentagon officials were hounding military leaders to back a green initiative declaring climate change a top national security risk. Now, while people were literally falling off planes departing Afghanistan, government activists were frustrated that Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin hadn't signed their plan yet. The initiative was ultimately greenlit just 6 days after a deadly Taliban suicide bombing killed 13 Americans. The exchange between two senior officials that day reading, quote, "The Secretary of Defense has signed the cap. Congratulations." Let's bring in former Navy SEAL Tim Sheehy. Tim, you're currently running for Senate in Montana and have openly criticized this administration's handling of U.S. national security. I think there are a lot of Americans out there would say at that time it was ludicrous to put climate change over what was happening in Afghanistan. It's great to have you on the program. Tell me what you think.
It's shameful, and it's a complete lack of leadership. The focus of the United States military is to defend the Constitution of the United States and advance American interests through military force when necessary. And what that means is the ability to close with and kill the enemy. And what we saw in the summer of 2021, what I saw as a veteran of Afghanistan, my wife fought there as well, most of my friends, was an abandonment of our principles, of our allies, and of our troops. And the fact that we were paying for drag queen story time and climate change initiatives while we were losing our nation's longest war, which was in response to the deadliest attack on American soil in history, was disgraceful, and it was a slap in the face to all of us who served there.
Yeah, it was really difficult to watch that play out, and 13 people died as well. Switching gears for a moment, but it's somewhat related to this prioritization of climate change. You say that you were motivated to serve our country after the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. Now, traditionally, the President of the United States will observe the anniversary of that day by attending events in New York City, Virginia, or Pennsylvania, one of the three attack sites. But this year, President Biden, he's not going to be at those memorials. Instead, he's going to travel to a military base in Alaska after traveling back to the United States from a climate change meeting in Vietnam. Your reaction to this, a lot of people think this break with tradition is outrageous.
I think I read yesterday President Biden's on a 40% vacation ratio now in office, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised that he's off in Alaska while we're trying to recognize one of the most fateful days in American history. I knew I was going to serve my country when I was much younger, when I was a toddler. But what 9/11 changed for me is it really brought that into focus. And it made me realize that there are still real threats. You know, in the 1990s, we all kind of felt like, hey, we're in a post-war world. It's a secure world. We don't have to worry about going to war again. And that really shattered everyone's consciousness about that. And I think it's one of those before and after moments that all Americans have had. Where were you when JFK was shot? Where were you when Pearl Harbor happened? For my generation, it was 9/11. So, you know, that before and after moment really changed a lot of people's lives. And for those of us in my generation who served, you know, that took us on a very different path for the next 20 years. Some of us didn't come home, some of us came home without limbs. So knowing that that moment was a defining policy moment for an entire generation of Americans, especially in such a brutal way, it shouldn't surprise us that this president who I will add, in addition to Afghanistan, Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken also architected our disastrous pullout of Iraq, which, of course, we had to reinvade Iraq again to fight ISIS. You know, their foreign policy chops are pretty weak, and they don't seem to care about the sacrifices Americans have made to get us where we are today.
I hear you. We thank you for our service. As somebody who comes from the metropolitan area, you are right. Everybody remembers where they were at the day that those towers came down, and foreign policy is going to be a huge issue for this president as he heads to the polls. We wish you good luck, Tim, in your race.